Welcome to Corner of Fifth Street Talk, where we unpack marketing strategies, share industry insights, and consumer trends in retail, fashion, beauty, technology, luxury, and more. I'm Arthur Zakowitz, Content Director at Corner of Fifth, and today we welcome Jay Hakami, who's the founder of Sky IT Group, which is probably more well-known for its very popular platform in retail, Skypad. Jay, welcome so much for taking time coming here and joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Arthur. Appreciate it.
So first, I think congratulations, because you have an anniversary for Skypad. Is that true?
That's true. Actually, it's 2 anniversaries. Sky IT Group, the company who founded Skypad, has been around now for 25 years, so we're a 25-year-old startup. The Skypad product came about 18 years ago, exactly 18 years ago. So we have 2 anniversaries celebrating the company anniversary as well as Skypad, the platform, over 18 years.
So what was the initial spark, or I guess your core frustration in the market that you observed that helped develop the platform? And is it true you sketched it out on a napkin in a restaurant?
Yeah, it actually is. Actually, if you go back 25 years, we started as a system integrator. So we're doing BI and data warehousing things, and then I was listening to the clients, and they were saying, we have this issue with sell-through from the department stores, and we're not getting the information correctly, and it's not timely, and it's all a mess. So I started digging in, and then I had some coffee and sketched a little napkin. I said, what if I built something that connects retailers and brands and retail? And that napkin, which was a clean napkin, turned into a PowerPoint presentation. And our very, very first client was Theory. We went to Theory and said, we have this idea, we want to do this, and we had nothing. And they said, nah, you guys are just starting out, we're not interested, but we'll give you a chance. So lo and behold, we developed a product from a napkin to a PowerPoint to a real product. And Theory was our very first, and still is, by the way, customer 18 years ago. It suddenly even expanded internationally. So yeah, it started in a kind of an awkward situation and became a platform. We have over 3,000 subscribers worldwide using it today.
Did we meet? Oh, it must be 10 years, 9 or 10 years ago. I think we first met, and
Right.
you explained to me about people still using spreadsheets and Excel sheets. Is it still the case? Is it still we still?
I hate to say it is. I hate to say this. We definitely made a dent in the industry where the brands and the retailers sharing information digitally and making decisions based on one version of the truth. But having said that, if you go back, everything was a paper mess. It was a Excel galore between the brands and the retailers. And they're saying we sold 15 of these, and they're saying no, we only see 5. And it was a back and forth, and the speed to insight wasn't there. So that's exactly the reason Skypad came about, is solving that problem of insights between retailers and brands. What's selling? What's not selling? Is this color doing well in one segment, in one area of the country, while not doing well in another geography? So let's take action, move all the reds into a place where it's selling,
It's going to sell,
and so on. These are the things that Skypad does to improve the business flow between brands and retailers.
And it's just it's kind of mind-boggling hearing you speak about this. It just it makes me wonder, like, if something is fragmented, if we have fragmented data, if we're not on the same page, or don't have real full control of our best-selling SKUs, how can I make an informed business decision as a retailer or brand?
If you don't know where you're going, you may just get there, right? That's really this is really the gist. So back in the day, the retailer was sending information, but one retailer was sending Excel spreadsheet. One selling it with PDF, one has a portal, one is EDI, all these different ways. And for the brand to consume all that data, make sense of it on Monday morning so they can be proactive with the buyers was, I would say, next to impossible. So we perfected that whole mechanism of that data sharing between the retailers and the brands to enable the buyers on the retail side, and the sellers on the brand side to have intelligent conversation on Monday morning to see what's moving, what's not, and then make decisions that actually impact their both bottom lines, both the retailer and the brand.
What is the, I guess, from your perspective and from your client's perspective, what is the greatest kind of operational challenge that they face with, sell through and managing inventory data? What's the hiccups there?
Well, the initial hiccup was that every retailer sends the data in a different format. That was the first hiccup. But if you fast forward to today, retailers selling online, they're selling in the stores,
Right.
they're selling on marketplaces, they're selling on the brands are selling D2C. So the selling mechanism, the selling channels have expanded, and basically aligning the information between the brand and the retailer is definitely fragmented. And again, it's another solution that Skypad provides, is aligning that information together so the conversation can be an intelligent conversation. So there's definitely an issue there that we solve, hence for the retailers as well as for the...
So, what were some of the milestones like early on? Like when did you realize that you were really onto something that was going to solve real problems? Was there any specific that you could recall?
Well, the napkin conversation is it gets to come up, but I'll be honest with you, the third implementation we had was a very large company which we failed on. I can't tell you everything was a huge success from the beginning, but resilience is key, and we continue to push forward. And then a few years later, we started talking to the retailers. Actually, they started talking to us. They're saying, "Wait a second, you're collecting our data. So what's going on here? What are you giving the brands that we are not giving?" And we show them, and that turns into, at the time, Saks, Neiman's, Nordstrom saying, "Okay, would you be able to take that data and share that with our suppliers, because they're getting it, somehow anyway." So that's where the data distribution agreements came about with the major retailers, which obviously is expanded. We pretty much have, most of the big department stores in the U.S. right now that we distribute the data to their brand. And that was actually a aha moment for us,
Right.
to see that the retailers are saying, "Okay, you take the data, you do it better than we do, just do the distribution to our brand." And obviously that flocked in a lot of brands in the U.S. as well as abroad, because now they're getting clean data. It's not the EDI 1960 technology anymore. It's clean data with a lot of information that enables them to be very proactive with the retailer and benefit the retailer by providing, more reorder potential, alignment. Now we're talking with AI, we're talking about predictive. We're talking about things that are going to enhance the dialogue and the conversation between the brands.
So just so the listeners are aware, we're recording this. It's Cyber Week, right? So this is like the official kickoff of the holiday shopping season, and it's been very challenging, right? We're having, because of various disruptions like tariffs, the sales are up, but actually unit volume is down, I think, on a product. So to me, if I'm a retailer or a brand, like I want to have that data like live, so I could quickly make decisions, because I don't want to lose out the whole season, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what's in the speed to insights, right? I think that was coined by one of our customers. They said, what I get from Skypad is the speed to insights. I can react faster. By Monday, I can call up in the afternoon, in the morning even, and tell that buyer, "Listen, red is not doing well in Florida. It's doing amazingly in Michigan. Let's move all those products to Michigan." That communication, that dialogue, I think, brings a lot of value to both sides.
Yeah, especially if it's like real time, right? I mean, at the end of the day.
Well, the data we get is usually the industry is accustomed to getting the weekly sales information.
Yep.
Because of because of the 1960 technology of EDI, that's what they were trained with. But having said that, we get daily data from the retailer. So if a brand wants daily, we're enabling that as well. So you can actually see that and make decisions much faster, again, with the retailer. So that's really, really key to the dialogue between the two groups.
We've talked previously about the importance of a single source of truth, but what does it take to deliver that? Like, how does that actually work?
It's not as simple as it sounds, I'll be honest with you. The ability to collect all the data, normalize it, align it with the brand way of looking at the data, and then putting it in a dashboard a very, very pretty dashboard with graphs and charts and the geo maps and heat maps, bringing all that data together, and it's siloed by brand. We don't do a comparison between brands. Every brand has their own silo. It's automated today. Up to 98% of it we've automated. But having said that, we do have staff on board to be able to see if there's any anomalies or any issues that need to be addressed, and then we communicate that to the retailer or to the brand, so they know ahead of time if there's any hiccups in the weekly process.
What is the, and it's fascinating because, it's always been this almost contention between retailers and brands and competitors. I think what you're doing is you're creating this moment of a safe place where everybody succeeds, right?
Yeah, well, what we do, a retailer cannot do, right? Because they are focused on their geographies, their stores, their products, their brands, and the brands are concerned about their products and their retail. We kind of sitting together, like I would consider a hub between the retailer and the brand as far as data sharing and information. And that's really, you're absolutely right. We're kind of the thumbs, right? We're sitting in the middle. We're Switzerland, we're just giving the information, we're getting the information, we're doing the calculations if needed, and then we're giving it to the brand so they can have that intelligent conversation with the retailer.
Beyond just a reporting tool and single source of truth, how do you see, what's the long-term kind of strategic value proposition of Skypad?
Well, I don't see Skypad as a reporting tool because the heavy lifting is really on the data, getting the data in, normalizing the data. The reporting a lot of companies can do. I think we do it very, very well. And I would say that all our customers are using our UI, but the heavy lifting is the mountain below that water, surface of water, is really getting the data, normalizing it, make sure it's correct. Because you have to remember, companies are making decisions based on the information and the insights we provide. So it's super important for us and for me and the company here to make sure that it's an accurate information, it's secure, it's well-defined, and it's easy to access and make decision upon. These are the things that we are very, very anal about.
What is the, I guess, there's a lot of disruption. It seems like disruption is the new normal. How do you, just from your perspective and experience in the market, how do you manage that? How do you manage the things you can't control, like tariffs? What do I do as a brand? How do I move forward? Am I having endless sleepless nights?
Well, actually, I'll take you a little bit backwards and let's talk about the pandemic, right? When the retailer is down, orders are not canceled, products is not being shipped into the stores, we thought we're going to be out of business, right? Because, we're dealing with the retailers and the brands. Lo and behold, our KPI on retention has been traditionally 99, we really did not lose any. During the pandemic, we went to 98%. I thought we were going to go to 65, but we went to 98%. And the reason is because online was still working. So the online, we still captured the online sales, and we're still reporting on those. And there were some brands that called us to say, you guys okay? Because how valuable this information is. And obviously, a lot of brands have discontinued relationship with many of their suppliers. We were essential to their business. So that made us feel that we're doing something that is very important, instrumental to the industry to help them gain more insights into how a product are trending. That's number one. Number two, with the tariffs, the tariffs was a concern. I think it kind of fizzled down a little bit.
Right.
Not seeing, initially it was, we're getting calls, what's going to do with the tariffs? We're not making decisions because of tariffs. But I think in the last few months at least, what we are seeing is that topic does not come again as it used to. It has a bit of an impact more on the fast retailing side, on the mass merchants. It has a little bit less impact on the luxury side. Because the luxury can absorb that a lot easier than those who are working on volume and smaller markets. But again, we're seeing it kind of die. I wouldn't say die down, but it definitely has quieted down compared to 8 months ago, 6 months ago.
And there were other things too. I mean, we went through supply chain disruptions. It seems like it's seasonal. You need to have good data, right, to make good decisions on merchandising, right? That's the
You
bottom
know,
line.
there's a CEO, I actually met him in an airport in Europe, and he said to me, you know what I love about you guys? You have clean data. It's not noisy. It's clean, it's accurate, it comes from the retailer. You do what you need to do. You put it through your grinder there, and you give us information that enables us to make decisions going forward. And I never thought about us as clean data, but it really is, because, you know, the spreadsheet fights between retailers and brand, it just creates more, not only animosity and lack of trust, but also lack of decision making or lack of the right decisions. By doing the digital information going back and clean data coming from the retailer, you have a situation where the conversation is short, to the point, based on one version of the truth. And that's really the
secret sauce. So what is it? I just have a couple more questions, but Skypad is scalable, right? Is that it's a platform that as I grow my business, whether I'm a brand or a retailer, I could stick with it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we have a major brand that I remember started very, very small with us and expanded. And today we are doing basically, they've expanded into more company-owned stores, online marketplace, obviously department stores, and they've expanded with us. So it's scalable to the point where, we handle the largest brands in the world, conglomerates in the world. So from LVMH to Camry, so many of them around the globe that it's really, there's no limitation of size of SKUs that we manage. And now we're actually moving into DAM as well, which is the data management assets as well. So we're expanding that service that we provide. So we're not only talking to the merchants, we're talking also to the marketing folks as well. So we're expanding continuously. And Arthur, don't let me start on AI, right? Because you have to remember, we're sitting on so much data. So you can imagine, without even being technical, you can imagine what we can do with AI with all the information and insights that we have. So that's in the works as well, of course.
Right.
There's going to be interesting announcement coming early next year about the things that we will be doing with AI.
I can't wait to see that. I guess the only thing I think about, because we've known each other a while, is your leadership style. You seem to be revered in the industry. People love you. The people, CEOs and the CFOs and everybody, they speak in high regard. So what is your internally, how would you describe your leadership style? How do you keep everybody working and rowing in the same direction?
Well, I always, I learned very, very early in the game that the way to keep a company moving is actually keeping the culture great. So we're very fortunate to have our top leadership with us for anywhere from 8 to 15 years. And that's I think says something about a company. Look, I'm very accessible. I'm hands-on. I'm a visionary, but with my feet on the ground.
Yep.
I like to get things done. I don't procrastinate. And I'm very collaborative. I mean, we work together as a group. We work together and we kind of debate, and then we make a decision. Everybody follows that decision. We don't procrastinate. We don't have a board that we have to deal with. It's a quick decision, and we move forward. And we really truly embrace integrity. We do what we say, and we say what we do internally as well externally. And these are the things that makes a good leadership. And I think one of the things that happened to me, which I was very fortunate to, that Gil, my son, joined the business. Gil,
yeah,
as well, and he has the same personality, probably even better than mine in many ways with people. And I think being a terrible programmer back in the day allowed me to move into the other side of the sales and the running a business, because my personality is more about people than keyboard. And I think that's probably some of the traits that you see me as a leader.
We're out of time, but I want to say thank you. We have to have you come back when you have your new announcement in the coming year. So it's very exciting. I wish you luck, and talk to you soon. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you so much, Arthur. I appreciate the time.
And thanks for tuning in.